Hello, everybody. My name is Ms Chamchoun. I'm a British Moroccan writer and poet. Um, Good evening and good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. And thank you so much for your audience today. Today, I will be sharing some pieces with you from my collections, COVID, The Wordy Wiles of a Mind Under Lockdown, and Saging Not Aging. Without any further ado, I shall go straight into my set. Thank you. No filter. This is me. Here I sit, growing into my age jacket, accepting my invisibility, rebuking my fragility. Am I irrelevant? Wearing my wrinkles as a sackcloth and ashes. Should I reinvent myself for the applause of the social media masses? Twits, twittering on Twitter, showcasing shells on Insta, scrolling and trolling, perfecting personas on FB, photoshopping Melly, a veil of airbrushed sadness. I need more, because I am less. Filtering faces, not words, subsisting on praises, captive in light cages. The eyes, I don't see me. The ears, I don't hear me. Should I put on my filter and dance to the hollow beat of a digital trance? A pound of flesh under the knife, erasing evidence of a lived life, fattening up my lips and arse, a fatted calf, as a stranger berates me in the looking glass. Are my eyebrows on fleek? Am I scathingly savage? Enough. Am I too woke? Or not enough? I log in and await your critique. Let's celebrate the cover, not the book. Post a pic as the panel rates you. Have an opinion and we hate you. Immersing ourselves in a virtual brook. I have wandered the London streets, donning my expiry as an invisibility cloak, as the gaze of the lit quickly retreats before dissolving into the city's big smoke. I have sat with Elliot as we shared despair. After shop worn, shared niceties over tea and cakes and ices, exchanging troughs and peaks as we laughed and cried, bitching with Bukowski, waving to Sylvia as we died inside. Empty voices, filling space with speech, yet flawless faces behind a screen. Me, out of touch. Them, out of reach. where reality and the virtual scheme I have haunted, the void in between. Should I question the truth whilst believing the lie? The hordes flock to TikTok, famous for 15 minutes, to shock, to rock, to mock, to exhibit without limit. But I am old, and the light in their eyes has died. Thank you. And second piece. After Alfred, a response to the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. This is how we stay, you and I, in the dying sun. Leads into the sky amongst your rainbow organized clatter, and the air filtering through the shatters, murmured discourse across the coffee table as voices tenderly cosset like silken sable, romanced by the rapture which so easily enthralls our flirty festival, deaf to the Imam's call, the grandiosity of Moroccan gelage, so befitting the moment, colourfully beaming, proudly, without encroachment, darkness sifting into the room, a tagine ashtray, smoky plumes. In the Casbah, women stop and chat, talking of victory in the World Cup, strolling through the scattered stalls of the souks as the dust nestled for settling on our skin, the musk and kufta infused air our clothes drink in, the charmer and the serpent, charmed by the flute, down dehydrated alleys with lumpy footpaths, we silently sigh, imperialist epitaphs. The sunny fingers you poke through the arches, rubbing against our faces as she teasingly arches. Surely there is not enough time for the eternal soul to fully express the elation that rebukes the world's transgress. There is never enough time, clawing at our arms and baring its fangs, the ebbing humanity which lingers in turn as we scuttled into the acrid alcoves where the air whispered of olive groves. There is never enough time to consume all the joy, to face the forces whose gluttony only destroys. Time to put the world to rights over Ete, to stretch across sweeping space, to stay in the Kasbah. Women stop and chat, talking of victory in the World Cup. There is not enough time to consider and reconsider the future's plans, to reprimand the existence that felt like a sham, to wonder when first the crows landed on the eye's corner, to console the boastful fool, too choked to challenge culture, tittering tongues. Such a shame, an ungodly life. Their pitying stares, feigning care, stabbing like a knife. See how the colour drains from my cheeks and hair. I was once beautiful, my insecurities keeping me unaware. If I breathed you in and held my breath, could we stay, you and I, in eternity's depth? I have known the men who sexted and courted, acquainted with the overfamiliarity of breaking wind and poking orifices, the romance long since dimmed, the holidays and cheap hotel rooms where I faked love to fill the gloom, faded cigarette smoke and designer perfume. They will say, like a slash, I too am familiar with them all. The rampant, looking for a booty call. The Thai restaurants with the lemongrass walls. The sexual role play that disguises ennui. The flashing TV, an old childhood matinee. Should I flinch at the judgment of your double standards, scouring my sullied skin to wash away the hands I have felt, the hand that pinned my arms above my head, its fingers collused and fat like sausages. The invented drama that attempts to assuage the coarse stubble that pours at your cheeks, the restlessness that fuels rendezvous in car back seats, Chanel blue on your t-shirt, and I forget. What was I saying? I served myself bare. Are you shocked yet? When we were seated on the wall above the sea, the ocean dressed in a veil of encrusted diamonds before the light shimmied to the ebony horizon. I should have accosted Father Time, cursed him for not granting more time, how the snow outside settles so comfortably, its Arctic breaths drifting in with the draft, presenting merriment, bringing chaos, frosty rabid jaws that chill to the bone, pushing into our sensory nerves as we sit numbly, seeing your message flash on the phone. Your warmth surrounds me. I berate myself silently. This is not me. I scoff at love and the impossible reality sold. Am I a realist or a cynic? Maybe I am just too old. You knew I was afraid. I was terrified. After beef tagine and Moroccan fruit salad, after roll-ups and hot drooling ete, to selfishly stop the seconds to say, let us stay this way forever and a day, to tame the white noise, your fairy ballad, to balance that flicker, hurtling through the infinite universe behind a devoured Mother Earth, to embrace that ecstasy into my pulse, to say, I am Aphrodite, here to engulf as my raging tides dissolve the gulf. Cliche, age mockingly snickers amongst the dyed paint brushes and unfinished tableaus. The water in the jar tinged with plum, the way you always place your hand behind your back as the other moves across the canvas like a bird in flight, simultaneously awed and dumbstruck. You are somewhere else, in the contours only an artist knows, glimpses of joy and sorrow in a coat of many colours, where we spoke only in the tongue of the land of our mother, our clothes tossed on the floor, the eyes who lap up and store a catalogue of mannerisms to recall. I pleaded with time to mercifully stall. Christmas looms and festivity finds no place in my will. Maybe the frenzied buying and gluttonous eating will obliviously pass me by if I just sit really still. The goodwill to all men, as indelible as the greetings, the artificial tree still banished under the stairs, grudgingly goads me, my slovenly lack of care, taunting me, descent into malaise. But I am so tired and all out of rage. Should I fritter away life's pittance on age-defying creams, popping silicone, eating superfoods, washed down with green tea? I dismay at my wearied, sagging eyes, how my breasts no longer shun gravity, time's unrelenting, harsh reality. He does not wait for me, walking along the beach, footsteps tickling the tide, my black dress's hem dusted in the salt of the sea, me in a skewed straw hat, the sun in your eyes. I would spend it all, consume it all, night and day, wildly laughing in the face of advancing grey. If I thought it would keep us forever this way. Thank you. Insomnia. In the torturous throes of the restless hour, wakefulness I hungrily devour, plagued by sleeplessness, the onerous onslaught of ricocheting thoughts, defeated by hopelessness, a spark of jade at the watchtower, the crackle of searing paper, inching towards rest, the demons it arrests as in somnolence tapers the bitter earthy timber, a harsh rush to the throat, picture yourself on a boat, a sly paper plane kimber, a divine Buddhist quest, relinquishing earthly attachments, a sanguine sea of detachment. Sleep beckons, smartly dressed. The weariness of the body seeps softly into the mind. Thoughts halt with a grind, tripping as we tip the toddy. Then, in jagged valleys and steeps, middles with no beginning or end, contemplating solutions, forgetting the questions. White rabbits smile and descend down dim pits infinitely deep. The slither of a dream, warmly ushers me in, the sleep that I seek, the saviour I greet. Thank you. Bethnal Green. A journey to Bethnal Green. It seems odd to take this path, but it does not lead to you. Every weekend, racing to merge, unpacking the whole week's events. When the words faded, a flood of desire, carrying away the world's lament. Now the words have stopped. The desire terminated. Faded snapshots, memory, as I alight at your stop. A cat burglar in your hood. Here, for my own ends, avoiding detection. The places you stood in the rush hour trickle and flow, beaming in your manner, the pearly king of banter, lullabies of the bells of Bow. I am the thief of love, taking hearts when mine is broken, unbearable, hopeful longing, unspoken, stealing through the coves of love's end, the East End. Thank you. And my final piece, Chasing Poets. I gazed into fields of bladed grass, and my bones felt the cold at Wordsworth's cherished crowds, densely adrift as the wayfaring clouds, and of Brooks' eternal England. I searched sorrowfully for the strand that could tie my restless hand to belonging and the end of longing. The crisp air greyly blurs the awning, dimming the warmth and staining the sun's vivacious gold in Shakespeare's Eden. The apple eaten and the sins repeatedly died for, buoyed by Blake to ride, thoughts soar, the wings heavy and lackadaisical, craving the heights of the astrophysical, dawn song that sang of the metaphysical, of exploding colour and scorching heat, the light verve, coaxing, easy release, quenched by alpine streams, softly seeping. Browning's amour of April brings but icy showers, which douse and deaden the embers. Still, the senses longingly remember thoughts of the homestead abroad, where the heart Titianly thawed, and the spirit sprawled in awed. The shepherds of Rossetti who save, seek the flock that in turn saves, as they herd the arduous days and hours. The disturbance of Eliot's spring disturbs from deep within. Her shades paled and grey like granite, as silver stealthily bleeds out the night. Where are the mornings whose chorus awakes the bird song that reaches the ear and makes one rise from their bed to cheerfully embrace each tiny tick of the calculating clock, the beats that race and breathlessly stop as the trailing voices in the air, cajoling a song bliss brings, affronted by Larkin's bespectacled smirks, tolling up life's net and gross worth, desecrating the temple of the earth as they profit and pass on expense without conscience or penitence. Still, your presence arms defense. The oration that speaks life into living, the company of the heart's thanksgiving, the joysome jenna of poetic converse. Thank you. And I will close with one last piece. I am not Berber. I am not a Berber, the barbarian of Greek generals and Roman raiders, cowering in the dust, conquered and crushed, illegitimate invaders, marauding coveted minerals, advancing your empires further, the enemies at the gate, the carpeted caliphates, a pie divided in two, half for me and half for you. Gracias. Merci. Adieu. I I'm a powerful Amazigh who has smirked at adversity for thousands of years, flicking dusty tears, sipping warm mint tea, as Syra dripped from the wounds of the nomad fraternity, rising stronger from the debris. My tongue peppered in Arabic, French and Spanish, souvenirs I cannot vanquish. My words, an oral history of defeat and victory, immersed in rhythmic Maghreb music. I cannot be erased or silenced by the creed of the conquerors, their patriarchal parlance. I am of Al-Kahina and the conjurers, a matriarchal warrior queen. Neither faith nor power can defeat a heart forged in desert heat. Beware my spectacular spleen. Sands scattered by the wind, I travel across the globe in Al-Maghrib woven robes and olive grove skin. One day, you will say Berber, and I will see our ancestors, the civilized and the barbarian, the Amazigh and the invader, the jailer and liberty's dame. I will face you with fervor as I majestically assume my role. Hear my ululations rising above tribulation. Throughout history, I am Amazigh. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
It's such a wonderful session, ma'am.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I haven't. I must disconnect this.
Yeah, it happens. Unfortunately, when I was in Morocco, I had terrible connection problems.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And yep, I must disconnect. I'm not able to disconnect this thing. But yes, thank you for being there. Such a wonderful
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.